Hi, welcome to the video. Since we're about to begin the season, let's talk about the American League East, since, well, it's the only division I really care about. We're going to look at the American League East from top to bottom, preview how the division is going to go, at least according to me. The team that's going to finish in 5th is the Toronto Blue Jays. They're the only team really that isn't at least saying that they're going for it, or at least trying to win. They finished in 5th last season. Went 60-101, landed themselves Cool Papa Bell, who they are really, really happy with. But as a major league team, they're not good. They pulled some trades to start really dealing with their players, unlike last season where they just dealt away Joey Bats. Now, pretty much everyone's to be had. They already dealt away Garza and Lawson, brought in a bunch of prospects in the deal with Minnesota. What's left on the team is okay. It's probably finished with a better record than they did last season, mainly because some of the young guys probably will be in the bigs. Nap LaJoy, guy taken 9th overall by Chicago a couple years ago, dealt to Toronto, is a pretty good player. He's ready. I don't know if they plan on bringing up Cool Papa. Probably looks like they are. So he's a solid player, but still, Toronto's going to finish in 5th in this division. Aaron Sebia is still awesome. If he stays with the team, who knows? But besides that, it's all really young guys. Pitching-wise, Stewart's still on the team. I mean, Cecil's still on the team. But how long that'll be, I don't know. I mean, if they're committed to rebuilding, then those guys should be dealt. So since they're the one that isn't trying to win, I believe Toronto will finish in 5th in the division. Finishing 4th in the American League East is probably going to be the New York Yankees. Yankees did not have a very busy offseason. I mean, they signed a bunch of players: Hawp, Russell, Putz, Casilla. They signed all those guys, but the biggest signing obviously of this offseason was Trevor Cahill. Yankees signed him for a 3-year deal, $22 million a year. Mr. One-Star. Cahill's a solid starter. Isn't great, but he is solid. Should help the team some, but the team it's not as good as the other 3 teams in the division. I mean, the pitchers have not been pitching up to their potential the last few seasons. Robertson, Chamberlain, Phelps should be much better than he is. I mean, pitching to a 4.59 ERA for his career. He should be better ERA than that, but he hasn't pitched up to it yet. Cahill is a solid starter, so he should help them some. I mean, Noesi is a really, really good starter. So, I mean, really good. Like, Noesi's a monster. But, just not enough on the team. Offensively, it's pretty solid. I mean, Votto has just been killing them, not in a good way. He's not played well in this season and a half in New York. Soto is still good. I mean, a bunch of solid hitters, but what's been Rob's problem with this team, at least in my opinion, and remember this is all just my opinion, is that he always feels the worst team in the world defensively. Like, always. It's just, he doesn't value defense like I guess other GMs do. I mean, entire last season he started A-Rod in center field. A-Rod with his 5 range and 930 arm and a 930 percentage and a 4 arm. That was a center fielder. I mean, he has some problems all over the field really defensively. His outfield is a guy with a 4 range, a guy with a 5 range, and a guy with, one second, Scott has a 5 range. So that's not good. That's no wonder his pitchers have such a high ERA. But it's an okay team. I think it's going to finish a couple of games behind Boston for 4th in the division, which is something since they have a $176 million payroll. But Rob is always willing to make deals, so he might make a move. But as of now, I think he has the 4th best team in the division. 3rd best is, in my opinion, going to be the Boston Red Sox. Boston had a very, very busy offseason. Signed a bunch of free agents, most notably being the best hitter in free agency, Dexter Fowler, who was going to probably, I'm sure, lead off for them and going to do very well for them, probably. They made a bunch of trades also, bringing in Joey Bats, who is, of course, going to help them out tremendously also. They brought in Jose Reyes, who can help them out tremendously also. They brought in King Felix, Dustin Ackley. I mean, they brought in a lot of players. A good reliever in Osich in this trade they made with Seattle. They also brought in a middle infielder, and they brought back Euchre. So a lot of trades made by Boston, and it should help them. I mean, Boston was around 500 for most of last season before taking a real big swoon in September at the end of the season. Finished 80-81. They will probably be much better than that this season, but yet still, I think they're going to finish third in the division, which was a game which is they finished fourth last season, but they were third for most of last season. The team that's going to finish second in the division is, I don't know, the two teams up top, Tampa Bay and Baltimore. They were neck and neck all of last season. I believe they're going to be neck and neck all of this season also. If I have to pick, and since I do, because I'm not Mike San Francisco GM, who's just going to say, well, and I'm actually going to pick here the team that's going to finish in second. I'm going to say Tampa Bay is going to finish in second. Tampa Bay has not had that busy in offseason, pretty much going to war with the guys they had last year, which makes sense since, you know, the PYT record thing, the thing that, like, based on their runs scored and runs given up, how they should have finished, Tampa Bay finished way better than they actually did, so they got unlucky in some games than they should have, unluckier than they should have in some games. They brought in Izzo at first base in free agency. Besides that, they're going to war with who they got, which is very good, who they got. I mean, if their offense was tops in the league last year, it's probably going to be up there again this year. Hamilton, Longoria, Krause, Dietrich. I mean, they have great hitters. Izzo should help with that. And their pitchers were off last season, and yet still they came with it. They won the wild card with their pitchers not pitching up to their potential. So this season, and if they get what they should get out of Price, Hellickson, then they'll definitely be up there and probably could even beat Baltimore for the division. But again, I'm picking them second. McEachern stepped up big time last season for them. Went 15-12 with a 2.98 ERA. He's probably going to have an ERA somewhere around there this season. Price had a bad year last year with only a 3.47 ERA, even though he did go 23-6. So he had a high ERA, high for him. Same thing, Hellickson pitched way higher ERA than he normally does. I mean, 4.27 ERA, but even though he did go 20-7. So Tampa Bay is going to be up there fighting for the wild card, fighting for the division, with a team that I think is going to finish in first, which, granted, I might be a bit biased in this, but I think Baltimore won division. Baltimore won division last year by 5 games or so. And Baltimore has had an interesting offseason, so I may say so myself. Especially since looking at the team right now, there are 5 catchers on the roster, and that's not including Jose Montero and Matt Wieters, also on the roster, who are primarily catchers. So 7 catchers out of the 25-man roster right now, which is ridiculous. Anyways, Baltimore got older, as opposed to, I mean, they had a good young core when they won the World Series. They decided to make a bunch of changes. They got older. They brought in an outfielder and a starter who should help, but yet are older, namely Ryan Braun, traded from Seattle. Bring him in. Braun's 34 years old, but he's a monster. 100 contact, 94 power. Should help, even though he's in his walk year on 34. And they also brought in Roy Halladay, who is 37 and in his walk year. So these are short-term moves by the Yankees, but by the Orioles. I'm a Yankees fan. I don't know why I say Yankees. So, like I said, Halladay, 37 years old in his walk year, but yet he's still 93, 99, 90. As the Yankees as the Orioles number 2 starter, that's pretty freaking good, if I may say so myself. The one deficiency on the team, like with Tampa Bay, is both don't have strong bullpens, so they're back at the end of their bullpen, probably gonna be blowing game. But like Tampa Bay, the Yankees, the Orioles have really upgraded offensively and have a much deeper lineup than they did in the past. I mean, Dent with his lefty-righty now. I mean, they signed the Orioles signed we signed Dent last season in free agency. By now, he's an unbelievable stud for us. 100 contact, 75 power, 88 eye. He's gonna be batting 4th for us cleanup. I mean, we're finally bringing up Harry Murray, the shortstop prospect, to bat leadoff for us with his 90 contact and whatnot. And I think that Baltimore is going to be able to hold off Tampa Bay, but they'll be neck and neck for the division. Losers of that is going to have a tough time with whichever team out of Kansas City, Cleveland, and Detroit, whenever those teams is the best out of those 3, because Minnesota's definitely going to win that division. But it's going to be interesting. The AL East, I mean, every team is still obviously looking to make trades, so I don't know how it's going to end up. But for right now, if I had to pick it from 5th to 1st, I think it's Toronto, New York, Boston, Tampa Bay, and then Baltimore, at least in my opinion. But then again, Would I really pick against my own team to win the division? I don't think so. And I don't think Jimmy's picking against his own team to win the division. So thanks for watching, everyone, and good luck to everyone in the AL East. Except, actually, terrible luck to everyone in the AL East going forward this season. Peace.